Have you ever felt like the pain you're carrying is too heavy, too confusing, too unfair? Like life placed a weight on your shoulders that you never asked for? Maybe you've been praying, waiting, hoping for relief, but instead the storm keeps coming. And somewhere deep inside you started wondering, God, why me? But what if the pain you're feeling is not the end of your story? What if it's actually the preparation for something greater than you can see right now? Sometimes God allows pressure because he's building capacity. Sometimes he allows heartbreak because he's creating strength. Sometimes he lets the ground shake beneath you because he's preparing you to stand on a higher level you've never stood on before. You may feel broken, but heaven sees you being built. You may feel delayed, but heaven knows you're being developed. And while you're questioning the pain, God is already preparing the purpose. Today, I want to remind you of something powerful. Your pain is not pointless. Your struggle is not wasted. God is preparing you for something bigger than what hurt you. Pain is one of the most misunderstood seasons in a person's life. When we experience it, our first reaction is often confusion. We ask questions that seem to echo through our hearts day and night. Why did this happen to me? Why now? Why does it feel like everything is falling apart when all I was trying to do was move forward? Pain has a way of shaking the ground beneath our confidence, challenging our faith, and forcing us to confront parts of ourselves we never expected to see. But what if the place where you feel the most pressure is actually the place where God has begun the greatest preparation in your life? Many people believe that purpose arrives wrapped in comfort and clarity. But more often than not, purpose is born in the middle of struggle. There is something about pain that reveals what comfort hides. When life is easy, we often move through it without asking deeper questions about who we are and what we are capable of becoming. But pain slows us down. Pain forces reflection. Pain brings us to a place where we have to look beyond the surface and discover a strength we didn't know we had. Sometimes God allows the very thing we tried to avoid because he knows that through it we will discover something greater than we ever imagined. The truth is that preparation rarely feels good while it is happening. Preparation can look like loss. Preparation can look like doors closing. Preparation can look like moments where it feels like your prayers are echoing in silence. But behind the scenes, God is shaping something inside of you that cannot be developed in comfort alone. Think about the way pressure works in the natural world. Diamonds are formed under intense pressure deep within the earth. Gold is refined through fire that burns away everything that does not belong. Seeds must be buried in dark soil before they can ever grow into something that reaches toward the light. The process is never easy, and from the outside it can look like destruction, but what is really happening is transformation. Pain has a way of stripping away illusions. It removes the masks we wear to impress people. It exposes the parts of our hearts that still need healing. It confronts the fears we hoped would never surface. And while that can feel overwhelming, it also creates an opportunity for growth that comfort could never provide. When everything is going well, we often rely on our own strength. We trust our plans, our strategies, our understanding. But pain humbles us. It brings us to a place where we realize we cannot do this life on our own. In that moment of surrender, something powerful begins to happen. Faith becomes more than just words we speak on good days. Faith becomes the anchor we hold on to when the waves are crashing around us. It becomes the quiet voice that reminds us that even when we do not understand the process, God is still present in the middle of it. Sometimes the pain you are experiencing is preparing you for the responsibility of the purpose that is waiting ahead. There are levels of influence, leadership, and impact that require a depth of character that can only be formed through struggle. If everything had always gone your way, you might have reached the destination without developing the wisdom to handle it. If every door had opened easily, you might never have learned how to persevere when life becomes difficult. Pain teaches lessons that success alone cannot teach. It teaches empathy, because once you have walked through a dark season, you begin to understand the struggles of others. It teaches patience, because healing and growth take time. It teaches resilience, because every time you choose to keep going, despite the weight you feel, you are building a strength that will serve you in the future. There are moments when pain feels like evidence that something is wrong with your life. But sometimes it is actually evidence that something important is being built inside you. The breaking you feel may not be destruction. It may be the reshaping of your perspective, your priorities, and your understanding of what truly matters. People often admire the strength they see in someone who has overcome difficult seasons, but they rarely understand the journey that created that strength. They see the confidence, but not the nights filled with tears. They see the courage, but not the moments of doubt that had to be faced and overcome. They see the victory, but not the battles that were fought in private. What you are walking through right now may feel unfair. It may feel like too much. It may feel like a chapter you never wanted to write. But preparation often happens in places we would never choose for ourselves. Sometimes the very thing that feels like it is breaking you is actually building the foundation for something that will one day help others find hope. God has a way of taking the moments we thought would destroy us and turning them into the moments that define us. The pain that once felt unbearable begins to shape a new level of strength. The confusion that once filled our minds begins to give way to clarity and purpose. The struggle that once made us question everything begins to reveal a deeper understanding of who we are becoming. When you begin to look at pain through the lens of preparation, something shifts in the way you experience it. Instead of seeing it only as suffering, you begin to recognize the possibility of transformation within it. You begin to understand that even in the hardest seasons, something meaningful is being formed. Every tear carries a lesson. Every setback holds an opportunity to grow. Every moment where you feel like giving up becomes a chance to discover the courage to keep moving forward. And while the process may feel slow, uncomfortable, and uncertain, preparation is quietly taking place beneath the surface of your life. The strength you are developing, the wisdom you are gaining, and the resilience you are building are all part of a larger story that is still unfolding. Delays and struggles have a way of making us feel like something is wrong with our lives. When we make plans, we imagine progress happening quickly and smoothly. We picture doors opening at the right time, opportunities appearing when we need them, and our efforts producing immediate results. But life rarely follows the timeline we create in our minds. Instead, we often find ourselves waiting longer than expected, facing obstacles we never planned for, and wondering why everything feels so much harder than it should be. In those moments, it is easy to believe that the delay means failure or that the struggle is some kind of punishment. We begin to question our decisions, our abilities, and sometimes even our faith. We watch other people moving forward while we feel stuck in the same place, repeating the same prayers, carrying the same hopes, and facing the same challenges day after day. The waiting becomes heavy, and the struggle begins to feel like proof that something is going wrong. But delays and struggles are not always signs that you are on the wrong path. Sometimes they are signs that you are in a season of training. Sometimes the very thing that feels like it is holding you back is actually preparing you for the level you are about to step into. Because what many people do not realize is that success without preparation can become a burden instead of a blessing. There are certain responsibilities, opportunities, and purposes that require a deeper level of strength, wisdom, and character. If those things arrive before we are ready to handle them, they can overwhelm us instead of helping us grow. Preparation takes time because growth cannot be rushed. The lessons that shape who we become are often learned slowly, through experiences that test our patience and challenge our determination. Struggles have a way of strengthening parts of us that comfort could never reach. When everything is easy, we rarely discover how resilient we truly are. We do not push beyond our limits because there is no reason to. But when obstacles appear, something different begins to happen inside of us. We are forced to adapt, to learn, to keep going even when the outcome is uncertain. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to build endurance and discipline. Think about the way athletes train for competition. They do not become strong by avoiding difficulty. They become strong by facing resistance again and again. Every workout stretches their limits, every practice demands focus, and every moment of fatigue teaches their bodies to keep performing, even when they feel like stopping. The struggle is not meant to break them. It is meant to prepare them for the moment when their strength will be required. Life works in a similar way. The delays you experience are often seasons where important lessons are taking root beneath the surface. Patience is being developed. Perseverance is being built. Wisdom is being formed through experiences that challenge the way you think and the way you respond to adversity. These qualities cannot be downloaded instantly or learned through comfort alone. They grow slowly as you walk through situations that require you to stretch beyond who you used to be. There is also something powerful that happens during the waiting. Waiting forces us to slow down and reevaluate what truly matters. It gives us time to grow emotionally and spiritually. It allows us to develop clarity about our purpose and the direction we want our lives to take. If everything happened instantly, we might rush into opportunities without the maturity needed to handle them well. Struggles also refine our intentions. Sometimes we start pursuing a goal because of excitement, recognition, or the desire to prove something to others. But when the journey becomes difficult, those shallow motivations begin to fade. Struggle asks deeper questions. It asks whether you truly believe in what you are pursuing. It asks whether your purpose is strong enough to survive moments of doubt and frustration. When you continue moving forward despite delays and challenges, you are strengthening something inside yourself that will eventually become part of your foundation. Every time you choose persistence instead of quitting, you are building confidence in your ability to endure. Every time you learn from a setback, you are gaining wisdom that will guide your future decisions. Many people look at someone who has achieved success and assume that their journey was simple. They see the final result, but not the years of preparation that came before it. They see the moment of breakthrough, but not the countless moments where that person had to keep going without seeing immediate results. What appears to be sudden success is often the product of long seasons of unseen training. The delays you are experiencing right now may feel frustrating, but they may also be protecting you from stepping into something before you are fully prepared. They may be giving you the time needed to grow into the person capable of sustaining the blessings and responsibilities that are ahead. Sometimes what feels like being held back is actually being positioned for a stronger future. There is a quiet transformation that happens when you learn to trust the process of growth. Instead of seeing struggles as barriers, you begin to recognize them as part of your development. You start to understand that every difficult season carries lessons that will eventually strengthen your perspective and your ability to navigate life's challenges. Training seasons are rarely comfortable. They require discipline, patience, and the willingness to keep showing up even when progress feels slow. But those seasons create resilience that cannot be taken away. They shape a mindset that knows how to face obstacles without being defeated by them. When delays stretch longer than expected and struggles feel heavier than you imagined, it can be tempting to believe that nothing is changing. But growth is often happening quietly beneath the surface. Your perspective is evolving. Your strength is increasing. Your understanding of life and purpose is becoming deeper. And while you may not yet see the full picture of where this training season is leading, every challenge you face is adding another layer of preparation to your journey. Every delay is giving you time to develop qualities that will support the future you are stepping toward. Every struggle is shaping the resilience that will help you carry the responsibilities and opportunities that are waiting ahead. Broken seasons are the moments in life we never planned for. They arrive without warning, interrupting the plans we carefully built and the expectations we carried in our hearts. One day, everything seems stable, predictable, and secure, and the next day it feels like the ground beneath our feet has shifted. Relationships change, opportunities disappear, dreams feel distant, and the future suddenly becomes unclear. In those moments, the word broken begins to describe not only our circumstances, but also the emotions we carry inside. Being in a broken season can feel deeply confusing. You may look around at your life and wonder how everything became so complicated. You may remember the version of yourself that once felt confident, hopeful, and certain about the path ahead, and now you struggle to recognize that same strength within you. Broken seasons have a way of shaking our identity and making us question whether we are still capable of becoming the person we once believed we could be. Yet there is something powerful hidden within these moments of brokenness. While broken seasons often feel like the end of stability, they can also become the beginning of transformation. What feels like everything falling apart may actually be the process of rebuilding something stronger than before. Brokenness creates space for growth in ways that comfort never could. When life is comfortable and predictable, it is easy to move through each day without deeply examining who we are becoming. We follow routines, we repeat familiar patterns, and we rarely pause to ask whether those patterns are helping us grow. But when a broken season arrives, those routines and patterns are interrupted. Suddenly, we are forced to confront our fears, our insecurities, and the areas of our lives that may have been neglected or ignored. This confrontation can feel painful, but it also opens the door for personal development. Broken seasons invite us to reflect on the choices we have made and the direction we want to move forward. They encourage us to question beliefs that may have been limiting us. They challenge us to grow beyond the versions of ourselves that were comfortable but not fully developed. Strength is often born in moments where we feel the most fragile. When you are navigating a broken season, you are learning how to stand even when stability feels uncertain. You are discovering how to move forward even when clarity is limited. Each step you take through that uncertainty builds resilience, teaching you that your ability to endure is greater than you once believed. Character is also shaped through these experiences. Character is not formed during easy victories, but during the quiet battles that take place when no one else can see what you are facing. It is formed when you choose integrity, even when frustration is present. It is formed when you respond with patience in moments where anger would be easier. It is formed when you continue to hope even when disappointment tries to convince you to stop believing. Broken seasons also teach humility. They remind us that life cannot always be controlled by our plans or our expectations. There are moments when we must release our need to understand everything and simply trust that growth is still taking place. Humility allows us to learn from the experiences we encounter instead of resisting them. During these seasons, emotional maturity begins to grow as well. You begin to recognize that your worth is not defined by a single setback or by the opinions of others. You start to understand that failure and difficulty are not permanent labels, but temporary experiences that contribute to your overall development. This awareness creates a deeper sense of self, respect, and confidence that is built on understanding rather than external validation. Broken seasons often deepen empathy. When you have experienced your own struggles, you become more aware of the silent battles that others may be facing. You begin to listen more carefully, offer kindness more freely, and recognize that every person carries a story that may include pain they rarely share. Empathy transforms the way you interact with the world, turning your personal struggles into a source of compassion for others. There is also a refining process that takes place during broken seasons. Certain habits, relationships, and mindsets that once seemed acceptable may begin to reveal their limitations. You may realize that some things you once depended on cannot truly support your growth. While letting go of those things can be difficult, it creates room for healthier perspectives and stronger foundations. As time passes, the lessons from broken seasons begin to accumulate. You start to notice that your reactions to challenges are changing. Situations that once overwhelmed you no longer carry the same power. Your patience grows stronger, your perspective becomes wider, and your ability to remain calm in uncertain circumstances begins to develop. The transformation that occurs during these seasons is often subtle at first. You may not immediately recognize the ways in which you are evolving, but each moment of perseverance contributes to a deeper level of maturity. Every difficult conversation you navigate with honesty strengthens your character. Every decision to keep moving forward despite uncertainty adds to the resilience forming inside you. People who have never walked through broken seasons sometimes assume that strength appears naturally in certain individuals. They see someone who remains steady during challenges and believe that confidence has always been part of that person's life. What they do not see are the countless moments of reflection, growth, and quiet determination that shape that strength over time. The experiences that once made you feel fragile can eventually become the experiences that reveal how capable you truly are. Broken seasons challenge you to confront parts of yourself that needed development. They encourage you to grow beyond limitations that once felt permanent. In the middle of these seasons, it may feel like everything valuable has been lost. But what is actually happening is the construction of deeper foundations. The strength you are developing allows you to face future obstacles with greater courage. The character you are forming shapes the way you lead, influence, and support others in their own journeys. Each lesson learned during these difficult moments becomes part of the wisdom you carry forward. The patience you develop helps you approach life with greater understanding. The empathy you gain allows you to connect with people in meaningful ways. The resilience you build gives you the confidence to continue pursuing purpose, even when the path becomes challenging. And while broken seasons may begin with uncertainty and pain, they gradually reveal the possibility of renewal and growth as the process of becoming stronger, wiser, and more compassionate continues to unfold within you. What hurt you often feels like the very thing that will define you forever. When pain enters your life, it leaves marks on your memory, on your confidence, and sometimes even on the way you see the world. There are moments when the experience feels so overwhelming that it seems impossible to imagine any good coming from it. You remember the disappointment, the betrayal, the loss, or the failure, and the weight of those moments can feel like something that will always follow you. Pain has a way of convincing us that our story has ended in that moment. It whispers that the damage is permanent and that nothing meaningful can come from what we have been through. But life has a strange and powerful way of transforming the very things that once hurt us into the lessons that shape our purpose. What hurts you carries knowledge that comfort could never teach. When you walk through a difficult season, you learn things about strength, patience, and resilience that cannot be learned in an easy environment. Every challenge you face adds another layer of understanding to your perspective. That understanding slowly begins to change the way you view both your own struggles and the struggles of others. At first, the pain may feel deeply personal. It may feel like something that happened only to you, something that isolated you from everyone else. But as time passes and healing begins, you start to realize that many people around you are carrying similar experiences, different stories, different circumstances, but the same emotions of disappointment, fear, confusion, or heartbreak. When you have experienced pain yourself, something shifts in the way you respond to others. You begin to listen more carefully because you understand how important it is for someone to feel heard. You offer kindness more naturally because you remember how meaningful even small gestures of support can be during difficult moments. Empathy grows because you know what it feels like to walk through uncertainty. This empathy is one of the reasons why what hurt you can eventually become part of your testimony. A testimony is not simply a story about pain. It is a story about survival, growth, and the strength that was discovered along the way. It is the ability to look back at a difficult chapter and recognize that even though it was painful, it also shaped who you have become. People are often inspired by those who have faced challenges and continued moving forward. When someone shares their experience honestly, it creates a connection that reminds others they are not alone in their struggles. A story of perseverance can provide hope to someone who feels like giving up. A story of healing can encourage someone who believes their wounds will never close. Your testimony does not require perfection. It does not require that every part of your life be completely resolved. It simply requires honesty about the journey you have taken and the lessons you have learned along the way. Sometimes the most powerful testimonies come from people who are still in the process of growing, but have chosen to use their experiences to uplift others. What once felt like a weakness can become a source of strength. The same experiences that once caused you pain can give you insight that others may not yet have. When you speak about overcoming fear, you are not speaking from theory, but from experience. When you encourage someone to keep going during a difficult time, your words carry authenticity because you have walked through similar challenges. There is something deeply powerful about seeing someone transform their pain into purpose. It shows that struggles do not have to be the final chapter of a person's story. It demonstrates that healing and growth are possible, even after the most difficult experiences. This transformation often inspires others to believe that their own lives can also move forward. Many people who make a meaningful impact in the lives of others do so because they have experienced hardship themselves. Their compassion, patience, and understanding are not simply personality traits, but qualities that were developed through their own journeys. The struggles they once wished had never happened become the experiences that allow them to guide others through similar situations. When you begin to see your story in this way, your perspective starts to shift. Instead of viewing your past only as a collection of painful memories, you begin to recognize it as a source of wisdom and strength. Every challenge you faced has contributed something valuable to who you are today. Every obstacle you overcame has added depth to your understanding of life. This does not mean that the pain was easy or that it should be minimized. The emotions you experienced were real, and the impact they had on your life was significant. But the presence of pain does not mean that your story must remain defined by suffering. It means that you have the opportunity to grow through those experiences and eventually use them to encourage others. Sometimes the very words that help someone find hope come from the lessons you learned during your own difficult seasons. Your ability to relate to someone else's struggles can create a moment of connection that reminds them they are not alone. Your willingness to share your journey can open a door for someone who has been silently carrying their pain without knowing where to turn. What hurt you may have once felt like the end of your confidence or your dreams. But over time, it can become a reminder of your resilience and your ability to keep moving forward. The experiences that once made you question everything can eventually become the moments that taught you the most about courage, faith, and perseverance. Every story of healing has the potential to create hope. Every example of someone rising after a fall reminds others that growth is still possible. Your testimony becomes a light that shines into places where others may feel surrounded by darkness. And while you may never have chosen the pain that shaped your journey, the strength, wisdom, and compassion that emerge from those experiences can eventually become part of a story that continues to inspire, encourage, and guide others who are searching for hope in the middle of their own struggles. The size of a calling is rarely understood in the beginning. When people think about purpose, they often imagine the visible moments, the success, the impact, the influence that others can see. They imagine the day when everything finally makes sense and the journey feels worth it. But what many people do not realize is that before the calling becomes visible, there is often a long and quiet season of preparation that shapes the person who will eventually carry that responsibility. The bigger the calling on your life, the deeper the preparation must be. Purpose is not only about reaching a destination, it is about becoming the kind of person who can sustain that destination without being overwhelmed by it. Influence, leadership, and responsibility require more than talent or passion. They require character, resilience, patience, and wisdom. Those qualities are rarely developed in comfortable environments. They are usually formed through experiences that challenge you to grow beyond your current understanding of yourself. The deeper the preparation, the stronger the foundation that is being built beneath your future. Sometimes people look at their struggles and wonder why life seems more difficult for them than for others. They compare their journey to someone else's and feel discouraged when the road ahead appears heavier or longer. But every path is different because every purpose carries different responsibilities. When the calling on your life involves guiding, supporting, or influencing others, the preparation often includes lessons that teach empathy, humility, and endurance. Those lessons can only be learned by walking through moments where you need the same understanding you will later offer to someone else. There are times when life will place you in situations that stretch your patience. You may feel like you are waiting longer than expected for opportunities to appear. Those waiting seasons are not empty spaces in your story. They are moments where discipline and perseverance are quietly being developed. There are also moments when obstacles appear in places where you expected progress. A plan may fall apart, a door may close, or an effort may not produce the results you hoped for. In those moments, frustration can easily replace motivation. But obstacles often reveal strengths you did not know you possessed. They challenge you to think creatively, adapt to new circumstances, and keep moving forward even when the path becomes unclear. The depth of preparation often reflects the level of responsibility that lies ahead. Someone who will eventually lead others must first learn how to manage their own emotions during difficult situations. Someone who will encourage others must first learn how to hold on to hope during moments of disappointment. Someone who will guide others must first learn the value of patience and understanding through their own experiences. These lessons do not always arrive in ways that feel positive or rewarding at the time. They often appear through challenges that test your ability to remain focused on your purpose. There may be seasons where you feel misunderstood, where your efforts go unnoticed, or where progress seems slower than expected. During those seasons, it can be tempting to believe that your efforts are being wasted. You may wonder whether your dreams were unrealistic or whether the path you chose is truly meant for you. But preparation often happens in quiet places where growth is taking place without immediate recognition. Every challenge you face is shaping the way you will respond to future opportunities. Every difficult conversation you navigate is strengthening your communication and emotional awareness. Every moment where you choose persistence over quitting is building confidence in your ability to handle pressure. When a person steps into a larger purpose without preparation, the weight of that responsibility can become overwhelming. Success may arrive quickly, but without the inner strength to support it, that success can feel unstable. Preparation ensures that when opportunities finally appear, you are ready to handle them with maturity and clarity. The deeper the preparation, the more grounded you become in your understanding of what truly matters. You begin to recognize that purpose is not only about personal achievement, but about the positive influence you can have on the lives of others. Your experiences shape the way you lead, the way you encourage, and the way you respond to challenges. People who have walked through deep preparation often develop a sense of calm confidence. They understand that difficulties are not signs of failure, but part of the process that strengthens their perspective. They know how to remain steady when circumstances change because they have already faced uncertainty in the past. This steadiness becomes one of the most valuable qualities when carrying a significant calling. The ability to remain focused during challenges, to make thoughtful decisions under pressure, and to support others during difficult moments is often the result of lessons learned during earlier seasons of preparation. The journey toward purpose is rarely a straight path. It includes moments of growth, moments of reflection, and moments where progress feels slow. But every step contributes to the development of a stronger foundation. The deeper your preparation becomes, the more capable you are of handling the responsibilities that accompany your calling. You develop patience that allows you to work through complex situations. You gain wisdom that helps you guide others with understanding rather than judgment. You build resilience that keeps you moving forward even when the path becomes difficult. Each challenge you overcome becomes another layer of strength supporting your future. Each lesson you learn adds clarity to the direction you are moving toward. Each season of preparation shapes the person you are becoming. And while the process may sometimes feel demanding, the growth that takes place during these deeper seasons ensures that when the moment arrives for you to step fully into your purpose, you carry with you the strength, perspective, and maturity that were formed through every experience that prepared you along the way. If you are walking through pain right now, remember this: your story is still being written. The chapter you are in may feel heavy, confusing, and exhausting, but it is not the end of what God is doing in your life. Every struggle you faced, every tear you cried, every moment you felt like giving up has been shaping something inside of you. Even when you couldn't see it, God was building strength in your spirit, wisdom in your heart, and resilience in your soul. The pain was never meant to destroy you. It was preparing you. The delays were never meant to stop you. They were developing you. And the broken seasons were never meant to end your story. They were building the foundation for something greater. So keep your faith. Keep moving forward. Keep trusting that what you are going through right now is not wasted. God is preparing you for something bigger than your pain, something greater than your struggle, and something more powerful than your fear. And one day you will look back at this season and realize that the very thing you thought would break you was actually the moment that began to build the person you were always meant to become.